Okay. All right, perfect. We got this. Um, should be good. Should be good to go right off the bat.
Right off the
Let me
bat.
just change the just change the floor and ceilings because I didn't open multiple things. I just said we were gonna do it like the hood way, you know. All I did was I put I just put your name above your tier list, and that was the
Oh, that's fine.
extent
I
of
I haven't
setup.
even gone so far to include your tier list. I will just look at yours later. Don't worry about it.
All right, that's a little bit fucked up. I mean,
I
put
have,
some respect on me.
but that's what I know, that your YouTube video is gonna get 1 million views, so it's fine. I'll just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you're the content creator here, you know.
Yeah, my YouTube channel is definitely not, dude. I thought that my YouTube channel was dead. What the fuck did I just
What?
like?
Definitely not.
I thought my YouTube channel was dead until I looked, dude. League on YouTube, League YouTube is
Oh, it's dead.
completely dead.
Yeah,
Man.
of course, yeah.
It's super dead.
I think only shorts and stuff like actually get used nowadays. I think people are not interested in the long form content of League.
Yeah, I mean
that's why we have to make
was...
statements like that 113 is bow, so we actually get clicks.
113 is bow. That's what we got.
I'm ready whenever, at least.
Yeah, I got one more team to do here. What team did I leave out? TSM, COG, Thieves, Fly, EG, Dig, IMT. Oh, GGS. All right, most forgettable team. Perfect.
There's one team here on this tier list that's blacked out, so let's see which one it is after.
It's TSM.
Okay,
I already checked that.
Okay, that's fine then. Yeah, we'll just leave them.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, let's get started. So we're going from bottom to top.
Yeah, again? I think that's the best. Yeah.
Okay, bottom to top. All right, so I have 2 teams in my last tier. What do you have?
I have 3 teams in my D tier.
Okay. All right. Nice. So my last tier is my F tier.
Oh shit, you have F tier as well. I removed the F tier. I don't want to be that mean.
Oh no, I have F tier.
Okay.
Stands for failures, you know.
Okay. Should I add it then? Might as well.
I mean, up to you, bro. Do you have any teams that you want to call failures or what?
I mean, yeah, but
okay.
Yeah, okay, let's do this. Yeah, I have F as well now.
Actually, I have 1 team in my F tier. I had 2 teams, but I changed it.
I had 1 as well, but then I removed it because I thought it was too mean, so I just clumped them up in D instead.
Okay, so my F tier team, my lowest rated team, 10th place. I have Immortals.
Okay. That's interesting.
My second, now this is gonna be a little bit of a hot take. I mean, I guess maybe I just like have some hot takes when it comes to 9th place team. My 9th place team, I have CLG.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's different from me. For me, the teams that I had in a big clump in the bottom was IMT, GGS, and TSM. I personally, I believe in CLG more than you, 100%.
Okay.
I mean, I will just remove the F tier because I personally think that they're all D tier. So I'll put IMT, GGS, TSM. I'm not sure who I think is the worst out of these. I think I would probably put TSM, honestly. And then I'll put...
Damn, you have TSM. You are a TSM hater, man.
Yeah,
you are a TSM hater.
I guess so. I just feel like it's such an uninspiring roster. I don't know. I feel like I honestly see a direction with IMT and GGS. Like they're trying something, even though I don't think it will be successful. But to me, the TSM roster just doesn't do anything to me, you know?
Yeah. I mean...
Like, will Boogie 1v9 games, or...
I mean, yeah, that's literally what I think.
Okay, so if he's that good, then he deserves it.
Yeah, I actually think he's a beast.
No, he's good, yeah, but that's like one guy.
Yeah, that's one guy. But then when you look at like the other parts of the roster, I mean, is there any player who you think is like an absolute beast at IMT? Like, I have faith in Revenge to be like good, but I don't have faith in him being good enough to compensate for like the other players that they have on this team, right? Like when I look at the rest of IMT, and I'm looking at like, okay, Kenvi, like he looked worse than expected in jungle. And then you look at bot lane, it's like Tactical, man. Tactical was so bad last year. I know he's your boy.
No, I mean, yeah, he's my boy. I just know how he works mentally, and I know that he just plays bad when he's under pressure. And we all know how TSM handles pressure on players and like the org itself. So I think he's kind of like Hansama in a bit, like in a way where if the vibes are good around him and he feels confident playing and he like feels good in the team atmosphere, he will play better. So
Okay.
that's my take on the bot lane situation. As far as Fleshy goes, I'm not sure how insane he will be. I mean, I saw he got challenger on Korea, I think, or high rated at least. So maybe he's
Okay.
like good mechanically. And then their top side, I think their top side is like, for me, a pretty decent LCS top side, like in terms of consistency. I don't think any of those players are like top 3 in their roles or anything, but I think that as like a, how do you say it, like a young slash, they're kind of all young, but they're also kind of experienced in LCS, if that makes sense. So I think that they have a good direction for Kenvi to play, at least from a Blaze Olive and Revenge's perspective. So I definitely have them above TSM, but I still have them as my 9th.
Okay. That's respectable, but for me, I don't know, man. I can't see Tactical like getting it together. I mean, you know him as a person. For me, I'm just judging like off his play. I
You've
mean, it
seen
just
the
felt like it
W's,
was
yeah.
well, it just feels impossible for him to not die. Like it seems like no matter what happens in the start of the fight, like he will always find a way to die. And I don't know how you're gonna be able to compensate for that. But hey, I mean we'll get to it with floor and ceiling. I think we'll probably have similar like floor and ceiling for that team.
Yeah.
TSM last. That's pure haterism. Look, I know they did you dirty, but like, come on. Like,
No,
like
nothing
Solo is
personal,
topside.
unbiased.
Like Neo was pretty. Like I always thought Neo was pretty decent.
I don't know. I was pretty uninspired by Neo when he was playing on Dig. I feel like Chime actually is not that bad personally. I think that his consistency was pretty decent in the last year. I think he will be, like, him and Boogie have to do the main work for them to escape 10th, in my opinion. And that's why I can also see it happen, right? Like, I have these 3 teams in a clump for a reason, you know? I don't think that, like, TSM is by far the worst team. I just think that they're 10th, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay, so last split, they were 5th and 6th. Right? They were 5th, 6th. They tied, right? Because 2 teams go out at the same time.
Yeah.
They're either 5th or 6th. And that was with, like, the only changes to the roster are Spica being sub for Boogie.
Yeah.
And Tactical being sub for Neo.
Yeah.
Is that really enough to make them go from, like, arguably top 5 to the bottom of the league?
You know what you're missing, Dom? They had the buff of Solo subbing in. Now he's starting.
Oh, but
this is regular season Solo that's not being subbed in.
Okay. All right.
That's what brings.
Right.
If this was Solo subbing in, they're in my B tier, Dom. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. All right. So we've got our F and our D tier. So for C tier, how many teams do you have C tier?
In my C tier, I have 2 teams.
Okay. So my C tier, I have 2 teams as well. But yeah, I only had 2 in DNF.
Yeah.
So my C tier, I have TSM as my 7th seed, and then I have Golden Guardians as my 8th.
Okay. My C tier was CLG and Dignitas.
Damn, Dignitas all the way down there. Yeah. CLG in what order did you have them?
So CLG is the 6th best done.
Okay. 6th, Dignitas 7th. Wow, Dignitas 7th. Jensen, Santorin, 7th place.
Yeah, I mean, I think that these 2 are interchangeable. I think that, like, Dignitas could be 6th, could be 7th. I think, or sorry, what is it? Yeah, 6th and 7th. I think it depends on how hungry they are. I feel like Jensen is always cruised by regular season and then popped off in playoffs, right? I don't know if that's like enough on this roster. I feel like maybe they need him to do a bit more. And CLG, I kind of like that CLG is keeping the same vibes, right? I think that in general they're kind of like the better version of IMT to me, where they just have a lot of younger players who kind of are hungry to win, and I think that they have a lot of like pressure in their games, which I think in NA is a good thing, because even if they fail in regular season, they can kind of pick it up for playoffs and maybe win a series, right? So I think that in general, I mean, so we have the bottom 5 the same teams, right? In general.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But Dignitas will be in my like higher tier, so I guess I can put them right here. So I have Dignitas in like my B tier at the bottom of B tier.
Yeah, I mean, I think I swap CLG and Dig and put Dig 1 step closer to B tier, so then they're 6th, right? Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's more fair, because I think that they're interchangeable, but I think the roster of Dignitas definitely should be better than CLG in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, also they have like they got some things going on there, right? They got Santorin, Jensen, who's played together. Santorin and Ignar were actually like they're taking over at a point in LCS.
FlyQuest,
yeah, and FlyQuest they're taking over. So I just don't think the team will be that will be as bad as people think. Obviously Armut is a question mark, but when you look at like the top laners in LCS, like I thought Armut was not great for LEC standards, you know, like
But it was also because he
probably,
was abused in LEC and people knew him, and in LCS people don't, kind of in the same
yeah,
way.
yeah, he's, I mean, maybe he'll catch a Narban every now and then, but I don't think they'll abuse him in the same way. When I look at the other players that he's playing into, like I could see Armut winning a laning phase versus like Licorice or something.
100%, yeah. No, I agree. I think that, like, I don't think that Dignitas roster is bad. I just feel like they, like, I think Santorin is by far their best player. I think him and Jensen, if they actually like perform well, then they can get higher. I think their ceiling is higher than what I have them now. But I do think that in general, it's hard for me to place them above the rest of the teams that I have left in my tier list.
Yeah. So the one team we haven't talked about here yet is Golden Guardians. So to preface this, most of like my expectations on teams and most of the way I did my tier list, I didn't really do the thing where you look at like a team's like potential and then you look at their like, you know, how bad they could do. You look at their floor and their ceiling, and then you kind of take the average of the both of both. I kind of just did it based off. I was looking at the teams and I'm like, if this team plays, like, what do I think is the most likely position for them?
Yeah.
So for Golden Guardians, I mean, I think that this team has a lot of like potential on it now. Like you have like you have River, who played really well in LCS previously, and then you have Gory coming in, and you know, Gory, he might have not looked great in LPL, but I mean, I think he'll be decent here. I mean, to compare him to somebody, we have two players now that played in LPL last year. The other one was Maple, and Maple looked like complete dog shit in LPL. I mean, Gory looked bad, but he didn't look dog shit like Maple level. Yeah, he didn't look horrible. He didn't look awful. So I think that Korean mid jungle like might get something done.
Yeah, I think that their biggest weakness is just their bot lane. I feel like even though they have previous synergy, even though they have previous synergy together, I feel like it's so hard to like think that they will perform, if that makes sense. Like I just can't see them go up against like any of the top bot lanes and actually like win, in my opinion. I feel like
they could win some lanes, like some laning phases. Like when I think of who he plays, I mean, if we end up, I think the meta right now might suck for him, right? Like I'm not super high, but I think that if the meta alters, I'm not sure what 13.3 will look like. We see engaged supports coming back. I mean, I thought Hui was always fine in those metas, but yeah, I mean, if we're playing Yuumi over and over again, bot lane and Lulu, you know, we're going to see 85 pink wards and no mythics coming out of him.
Yeah, I think that this team will 100% rely on their mid jungle to get stuff done. And I think their ceiling it's kind of like Dignitas for me, where it's hard for me to place them initially higher, but I can see them going higher if they play like to their potential, you know. But I wouldn't say that for Spring Split their potential is insanely high. I think that they're still like the bottom half, which we both agree on. But I think they have more potential than like the CLG, the IMT, and the TSM.
Yeah. All right, so now we get into the spicy part. So what does your B tier look like? I'll add my extra team to B tier, but what does your B tier look like?
So in my B tier, I have C9 and 100 Thieves.
Wow.
So I think C9 is the odd one out here, right? I think that's, in my opinion, I mean, like, I think that in my opinion, they were kind of like Rogue, where they had the perfect meta, like the perfect storm for them to win. And I think that in general, I don't think they can rely on the same things. And also I think that with mid changing to Diplex, or who's the other one? It was MNS as well, right? In their academy. I think that it's just a downgrade straight up. I feel like.
Then Jensen?
Yeah, I think so. I think for playoffs it will be a downgrade. Maybe not in regular season, but playoffs 100%. So I think in general, in my opinion, I think Sven was pretty lucky with the meta. I mean, he said it himself, right? Maybe the meta will be the exact same, but I think that teams will adapt better. And then they just downgraded mid. So for me, they have clearly downgraded this offseason.
Okay. I mean, I think it's fair. I just think that even if they downgraded, they're not gonna. Like, obviously, I have them downgraded too because I don't have them winning the split. I just think that a downgrade for them is like in the top 3. I don't have them in like 4th or 5th or anything like that. Just because I mean, like they still have Blabber, they still have Berserker, like they still have Fudge, who's, you know, shitting on NA tops in playoffs. It wasn't just like, oh, Fudge can kind of play some like carry top laners, or he was just getting by playing tanks. Like, no, he was just abusing the NA top laners that we have. here, and a lot of them are still in the league this split. So when I'm looking at C9, I don't see them having that low of a floor. I think they have a decent floor, and they have a really high ceiling still, because it is North America. You don't have to be that good in order to win. So the other team you have here in what, fifth?
Yeah, so
Is
100 Thieves
Thieves.
is my fifth, yeah, and I put obviously C9 as my fourth then. I think for 100 Thieves, it's just, I think that this team might take some time to develop and kind of mesh. I think that they actually, in a potential world, could be decent in summer split. But for spring split, I feel like with Doublelift coming back from his break, they have a rookie sup and the top right. I think that it's going to be a lot of the heavy lifting going to Closer and Bjerg. And I feel like Bjerg didn't come off the strongest splits either. So I think that in general, they are kind of like rusty as a team, if that makes sense. So I think that they will take some time to develop. But if they do, their ceiling could also be pretty high, like C9. That's why I think NA is actually interesting to split, because I think both you and me can see a lot of potential in a lot of teams. Like, there's a world where some teams place way higher than we have them in the tier list, but it's just also hard for me to put 100 Thieves over these 4 teams that I have, right? Like, I think
They just don't have they don't have like the star power for it.
Yeah, exactly. They just don't. I just don't see them having the pressure in game to like completely take over games, right, and be consistently winning. I think that's the main difference for me.
Yeah, I mean, you look at all the other teams, it just seems like they have better individual mechanical players at this point in everyone's career. I mean, maybe Tenacity will end up smurfing or something, and that will be what pushes them over the edge.
Yeah.
But when I'm looking at the overall strength of the team, and we saw Bjergsen play last year, it definitely felt like he took a step back. It's not that he's bad or anything. I still think he'll be like fine. I know some people think he's going to be like terrible.
No, I think he'll be fine 100%. I think he's also good at understanding when he's not performing at his best. I think he's very self-aware in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I think that he'll just find a way to make it work. Like, he won't be terrible. He'll never be bad. Bot lane, I'm unsure. I feel like Doublelift's laning phase is not going to be what it used to be. Even in season 10, I thought his laning phase like took a massive drop off compared to like season 9, season 8, when he was actually like dominant. I feel like we're not going to see that Doublelift. I think he's going to be a like passive, get through lane, get to team fights, and then perform in team fights type of player. But I just think that they're going to lack like winning lanes. Like, this team is not going to have enough, like, they're not going to have very advantageous map states going into mid game. So they're going to have to use their brains to really just like get through. And I think that could happen, like,
for sure, yeah,
with this team. Like, they have players that have played together before. They have players that respect each other and have like a similar idea on how they want to play the game. But that's the only real strength I see.
No, it's the same for me. Like, their veterancy and their ability to like solve games, so to say, I think will be pretty high. But I think that their baseline average League of Legends gameplay will not be mega high, if that makes sense. I think their problem solving and their like ways of finding ways to win is decent, but I don't think just them playing League of Legends is gonna make them win a lot of games. I think the way that they win a lot of regular season games is, as you said, like if Tenacity pops off and he just shits on other top laners, I think then they will have very easy ways to manage. But in theory, it should be hard for a returning player who had a long break and a rookie support to win bot lane, right? It shouldn't be very easy. And then you have Bjerg, who also hasn't come off like the strongest laning stint of his career. So I think it's like it's a kind of explosive roster where I think they need a lot of things to work for them to climb higher than what we have them.
Okay, so A tier. Let's jump into A tier. Who do you have A tier?
Okay, so I'll preface by saying I have 2 teams in A tier, which means that there's 1 in S, obviously.
Okay.
So my A tier is EG and TL. And then obviously that makes FlyQuest the sole S tier for me in LCS. I can start with the TL roster. I mean, I think that these 3 teams all kind of like in EU have the chance to win the title, right? I think that Liquid has the strong synergy of having the like full Korean roster with everyone being on the same page in terms of language and culture and stuff like this. I think that's very important, especially in NA. I think a lot of champions from NA have just had very good synergy, that they don't even have to have the best players. They just need to have good synergy overall. So I think that TL is very strong on that front, and I think obviously they have a lot of veterans in the roster as well. They have fucking Piotr coming, so maybe he'll also 1v9. And then EG kind of speaks for itself, I think.
Would be that. I mean, maybe he will, but like, it just seems it's so crazy to hear that that's how he's elevated like his status, right? Because if at the end of summer, let's say DRX didn't go to Worlds and they just ended
Fifth.
off, fifth, whatever. Yeah. They end up losing in the gauntlet and they don't come. I don't think anyone would be like, oh, Piotr is like coming over to NA. Like he might take over and carry. Like his value has went up so much from that Worlds run. I mean, which makes sense.
Yeah, like you have to respect it, but I agree. He's not like, I don't think he's the turbo 1v9 like Bo, of LCS jungling. I wouldn't say he's that type of player, but I think that in a full Korean roster, I can see him kind of being unleashed as well. And I think that obviously, I mean, he's not a bad player by any means, right? He's really good.
I mean, yeah, for sure.
I just see him being like very comfortable in NA, right? I think that's the difference that a lot of Koreans have faced when they come to NA. I think that they haven't been comfortable playing, but I can see him being comfortable in TL.
Yeah, I mean, I can see him being comfortable. For me, the reason why I don't have TL higher, it's not even doubting Piotr at all or Summit at all. I think Summit will come back and probably dick the league once again. I just don't think their carries are going to be good enough to like win like games consistently in the mid to late game. So I think they're going to be the team that will have really good laning phases and leads, and then they're going to be the opposite of 100 Thieves. You're going to get them into team fights and one of them dies, one of them makes a big mistake, and you just lose if your carries aren't good later on. So that's the biggest worry for me with TL. I think that Harry will be fine, and I think Yeon will be fine, but I think they'll just make crucial mistakes and lose games that they probably should win otherwise. I think it's really tough having both your carries, both your main carries late game being double rookies. Yeah. I'm not really sold with that.
It's a dangerous recipe for sure. I think I have faith more in Yeon than Harry personally. I think that Yeon is actually someone who can consistently perform and not have these like rookie fuck ups. I think that maybe Harry will, especially because of like side lane situation, right? I think he's under more pressure in general in the game. But I do trust Yeon to carry a lot of games. I think like if he's on Zarya or something like this and Core is on Lulu, I think that Core can also provide a lot of like valuable input, in the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So for me, they will be consistently good.
I'm interested to see how Core plays this split because I mean, last split was by far the worst one he ever had in North America. He was always the best. I mean, I looked up his stats or something. He's like 5 or 6 all-pro first teams.
Yeah,
like it's ridiculous how often this guy was all-pro first team, considering how few splits he's actually played in NA. But
I mean, he was Mr. Consistent up until last year, right, where he was kind of running it like everyone was on TL. So I think this will also be like his. This will also be his like return to comfort. I think where the roster is not under the same amount of pressure. I think in like the super team like atmosphere. I think this will be more of like a chill Korean vibe.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. So I agree that FlyQuest is first too. So just to give you where I lined all the teams up, I have TL. So you had FlyQuest is number 1, EG is number 2, TL as number 3, and then Cloud9 number 4. Yep. My top 4 was FlyQuest 1, C9 2, EG 3, TL 4. That's what I've got.
Okay.
So it's a little bit adjusted, but we do have the same top 4. Also, I have TL. I have all my top 4 A and S, where your 4th seed is Cloud9 and B.
Yeah.
So for me, I think EG is interesting to talk about now because they're teams that we both consider good, but we don't think they'll win. I mean, I guess we could just the obvious question is, why do you think that this team won't win?
I think that they're kind of. Like, I think that what makes them good also makes them bad. I think that it's kind of in their, like, explosiveness and in their, like, flipping factor, I guess. Like, I think that their flip factor is really high and that some games, like, they will all just be online and they will look like the best team in the fucking world. And then some games, like, Inspired will just randomly int in the jungle, botlane will die 2v2, and Jojo Pyun makes a random 1v1 misplay. I think that this distinguishment of, like, good and bad, I think just is hard for me to put them over FlyQuest, who I think will be more consistent. So for me, I think EG I think if their players just kind of mellow down a bit, I think they will be better. I guess adding Someday as well in top lane will add to that a bit. But I think that...
Will it though? Because they had Impact previously. And
I mean, he's actually a bit more consistent, yeah. I guess maybe. Yeah, and also like... like FPI Vulcan, right? I don't know. I think that both Kaori and Danny played pretty good. It will be interesting to see how FBI. I mean, he was also kind of Mr. Consistent as well, so maybe their roster swaps helped them a bit in general, like total. But yeah, I think that it's hard for me to put them first because I think they're a bit too flippy still.
So I just noticed, I mean, you have TL third and I have TL fourth. I mean, do you think that this is because you never played on the team, so you don't understand how it is to just be forever fourth?
I mean, actually not putting TL fourth is that's a risky move for me.
Yeah.
Maybe I have to rephrase down.
We'll put them fourth in floor or ceiling. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, just 4-4. They're just stuck on 4.
they've no ceiling,
yeah, they can't move.
Floor.
Yeah,
they can't move no matter what happens. They're guaranteed. Jesus. I mean, I don't think that EG is like super inconsistent the same way you do. I like Jojo and Inspired as players. I think Inspired is pretty consistent. I mean, just sometimes like he's not going to carry you out of a game where other people are inting. You know, like he's going to play a game super solid, but if like things go wrong from other players, like he's not going to alter his gameplay to get people back into the game or you know, try to take on extra weight within the game. He's just going to do what he thinks is right at like all times. So I think that could be a little bit risky if they have, you know, like Jojo inting or anything like that. But Jojo and Inspired to be like they're
solid for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I would expect them to probably be like top 2 mid jungle in the LCS. I just think that they like slightly downgraded their ceiling by adding in Someday and then adding in FBI, because when, you know, Danny played really well when they won that split, Danny's playing super well. He was playing a level higher than FBI, and I think Impact is just a better player than Someday. I've just held that belief for a long period of time. I think they're very similar players at this point in their career. You know, maybe Someday likes to play some carry tops that Impact doesn't play super well. Like Gwen is one that Someday played a lot. He was playing some Fiora, and it looked decent within NA, but I don't think that's enough of a factor where I'm going to value him over somebody like Impact. So I just think they lost that like firepower on their team. They lost that high ability to perform by, you know, adding in their 2 new players. I still think they'll be good. I think they're a team that has like one of the highest floors in my mind. I just don't think that they have that like top gear that other teams could potentially have.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think that like the Danny factor that they had kind of also made them united in the way they play, and they kind of were playing to the Danny effect. And I think that FPI just won't have the same like explosiveness as Danny did. I think that there will be kind of a big hole in their team to fill, and I think kind of the same for top as well. I think Someday fits a different niche, but I'm not sure that niche should have been changed. I think that Impact was kind of I think that Impact was a perfect fit for them, and I think that now it will change the dynamic a bit, which might make them struggle a bit. But obviously, since we both have them top 2, right? I think it's still like,
I have them third.
Okay, top 3 at least. Then yeah, I mean that's still like the top 3 to me are all rosters which can easily fight for the title, and they shouldn't be undersold in that regard.
So the one team we haven't talked about yet is FlyQuest. How confident are you in the Fly Fam? How confident are you that they'll win? Because for me, like it's one where when I look at the roster, it's like, how could they not win with these players? That's kind of how I thought of like Prince is.
I mean, mid and AD, good. Like
yeah, and then Vikla, like I don't know. There's some Vikla haters. I know Forrest hates Vikla. He perma tweets about how much he thinks Vikla is shit.
I think he's really good.
I think he'll be amazing in North America. I think he'll be the best. Are you like super confident on FlyQuest being first, or you know, is it just like a 20%, 30% confidence? They were kind of just the best out of the other teams you had up there.
I think they're like the best out of the other top 3 teams. I wouldn't say that they're like miles ahead of EG or TL for me. I think that the factor that they have is that I think that their carries will just be insane, like straight up. I think that they will have better carries than every other team in LCS. I think the biggest question mark for me is kind of Ayla, and then now also they're playing Winsome instead, right? Because Ayla had some visa problems. So that might like impact their mojo a bit in the early season.
They all can speak Korean, and Speaker could just be confused.
Yeah, I mean, he's just like, guys, I speak Mandarin only.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
I think he speaks English too, dude. I'm not sure.
No, he's only Mandarin. No, but I think that...
Damn, that was weird in TSM, I guess. What the fuck? How'd you play any games? What the fuck?
It's okay. Gank bot, GG. No, but I think that FlyQuest, to me, has the highest ceiling out of any team. Their biggest question mark, as I said, is support. I think, assuming that Ayla will start, I mean, he's also a rookie, right? He's played some games for TL, but he still should be considered a rookie. And I think maybe he will have a hard time in this roster because I think he might feel like he needs to do more than he has to. I feel like maybe he's like, holy fuck, I have Prince and Vikla and Speak and Impact, right? I have to be insane. But I think he actually needs to do like the bare minimum to win games.
Yeah. I mean, it shouldn't be. I feel like it shouldn't be that hard, especially look.
Just play Lulu, man. Click some E's and W's and stuff.
I mean, you're playing. Look, all I'm saying is, last year the person that won LCS as a support was first time in support.
Yeah, I was playing Yuumi and Lulu only. Yeah.
You're playing Yuumi. You're playing Yuumi. You're playing Lulu. This is like the meta that you're at least starting in. Heimer's fucking broken. Like Ashe. Like it doesn't seem like it takes a rocket scientist to play support right now in competitive, especially if you have good fucking carries, right?
Yeah.
It should be fine. So he's the only real question mark. I think Spiegel will be great within.
I
this
think
team.
he will be back to his 2021 form.
Yeah, I think he'll be the best. I think the best junglers in LCS are just going to be. I mean, this might be a little bit of a hot take because I don't have Pioshik up in my top 3. I think the best 3 junglers in LCS will be Inspired, Blabber, and Spica. That's what I'm looking for.
Okay. For me, I'll probably... I mean, Blabber has always performed in NA, right? I'll probably put like Pioshik, Spica, Blabber. Yeah.
Inspired. Okay, so Inspired is not in your top 3.
I think Inspired just... I think...
MVP.
No, I mean, he's really good as well. I just feel like when things go wrong, he's not the solution, which I don't think is that good of a perspective to have. I feel like when you're winning a lot of games, it's fine to have this like mentality that he has, but I think that if they start losing and him not trying to like solve things and just play for himself, I don't think it'll be that good. Whereas now I think Spica and Blabber have both developed enough to kind of take on that role, right? Like I think they're both fine playing Jarvan and Sejuani now. But I don't think that... I don't think he will do that with a smile on his face.
I was also thinking about like potentially adding Closer in, but...
Oh, that's hard as well. I mean, he's also really good, right?
Closer's really good, but I just don't think he'll be able to like show out the same way the other junglers will. Like, so it's not even that I think that Closer necessarily will be worse than those other players.
I think
like maybe
team gap, no?
Yeah, that's exactly what I think. And as a jungler, like if your team is gapped, you can't perform as well as like if you're on the worst team, you can never be like a top 3 jungler unless you're in some meta like we were in 2017, where you could carry the fucking game on like Nidalee or Graves. Unless you're in that meta, you're fucked.
Yeah, I mean, I really felt that as well when I was jungling in the 2021 summer. Like I was consistently getting massive early game leads, and then late game you're a jungler and you're just like I was playing Volibear and shit like that, right? Like it's like not up to me to win the game, and I think that Closer might be kind of in the same boat here, where he will do his best, but it's not gonna make him stand out as he did before.
Yeah. No, I mean, you are clearly just the best jungler in EU, but
I mean, for sure.
Team gap.
Exactly, yeah. You know how it is, team gap.
About my career. Yeah. Look, they put me second to fucking Rush. Oh wait, I had a better team than him. Never mind. It's not working for me. Well, fuck. Well, fuck. I guess we just go to the floor and ceiling discussion then.
Yeah.
All right. So I put the teams like ceilings and floors in random order. Actually, I could change it a little bit. Let me just change it to, where we
placed them,
where we agreed. Yeah. So we got Fly at the top. Then we have C9, EG. I'm just gonna put it because we had pretty similar like tiers. I'm just gonna put it in the order of my tier list, and we can
that's all good.
Discuss floor and ceiling. All right. Okay. So EG, TL, 100 Thieves. MT, GGS, big.
But I think the LCS will be hype with there's like 4 or 5 teams in my opinion that can challenge for the title, and I think that's not very set in stone at all. I think that's what makes it exciting. This split.
It's definitely one of the best splits of LCS ever in terms of like hype coming into it. Like even the bad teams don't look as bad as the bad teams previously. Like
there's still some redeeming.
2021 had Golden Guardians with Niles and Iconic. Like that was the lineup that they just put there for no reason. Like no one told them to do that. They just They just decided like, no, we're gonna int the split, like, and no one could say anything. They said, oh, we're gonna develop these players, and they just kicked them off from the fucking team.
I love that we're gonna develop thing and then kick after
Yeah.
one split. It's really working out for a lot of teams.
You have to get something to develop. You can't just like develop nothing into something. Like,
But it's more respect if they keep Niles for 2 years now and then let him actually develop.
Yeah.
And then they would develop their franchise slot being sold.
Yeah, the only thing that was developing is a tumor watching them.
Oh, no.
Okay. All right. Anyway, all right. So we've got the floor and ceiling. So for people that didn't watch the first part, we're essentially just saying we're going to combine our list to form where we think the highest a team could place is. That'll be their ceiling, and then the lowest a team could place will be their floor. So FlyQuest, we have the same ceiling. We have number 1.
Yep.
And then floor, what is the lowest you think this team could place? I would say about 3rd. What do you have?
Yeah, I was thinking 4th in my head. I think 4th or 3rd. It kind of depends. Like the top 4 to me, being FlyQuest, EG, TL, and C9, I think are all strong and can kind of interchange a bit. So I would say, yeah, floor is 4th for me.
Okay. I mean, the thing that makes that surprising is in your tier list you have Cloud9 like B tier, right?
Yeah, they're like strong B tier though. They're like almost A minus.
Okay. Yeah, man. I guess I could go 4. I think 4 is probably
that's the lowest
floor.
Yeah, like that's the lowest. Yeah.
Okay, so next we can do C9. I think that they have about a 4 floor as well. What do you have for them?
I would say 4th or 5th. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, because I have them in B with 100 Thieves, right? And I think that they could, if things go bad for them, drop under 100 Thieves or even Dignitas, maybe, assuming that maybe someone else shits the bed as well, right? So I would say 5th for me.
And for ceiling, you think that they have a first place ceiling?
I do, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I have them in a first place ceiling,
but like
well.
a weak first place, not as strong as FlyQuest.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, ceiling is just essentially the highest they could get. So
yeah. It's just that maybe like FlyQuest and C9 have the same floor and ceiling, but it's not exactly the same, right? But obviously we have different now, so it's all good.
Okay, so EG next up. What do you think the floor for EG is? I once again have them around that 4 to 5 floor and first place ceiling.
Yeah, I would say 4 as well. I wouldn't see a world where they end up lower than 100 Thieves, which makes 4 the perfect spot for me, and their ceiling obviously to win the split.
Okay, ceiling to win the split. I mean, I think this is a little bit easier than with LEC because there's more distinction between the
top and bottom,
and the bottom teams. All right, so next we have TL. We can rate TL. Do you think that TL could win the split?
100%, yeah, I think so.
Okay,
I think that could be like a little Korean super team, if things actually work out for them.
I mean, Pioshik just won Worlds. I think saying that he couldn't win the split would be kind of egregious.
Yeah.
What do you think?
LCS is harder than Worlds, though. So
true, actually. Look, Huni made it to finals of Worlds.
Yeah.
Did he ever make it to finals of LCS?
He was struggling in TSM. He had to retire. It was too much.
Yeah, it was too much. Like we saw how
he tried for many years.
He was one of the best top laners in the world, and then by the end he was like the 6th best top laner in LCS. It's tough. Anyways, TL floor. What do you think this floor is as well? I mean, I could see them as a 4 or 5th floor, but for me, I think that they have a much they could potentially have a lower floor than even like EG and C9. I think because they have so many like new pieces, and obviously they're trying hard to make this Korean thing work. But what if there is still divide between like the actual Koreans from Korea and then like the people that grew up like
the fake Koreans? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the people that are import slots and people that aren't actually import slots. It's like the fake Koreans and the real Koreans.
There'll be a fucking battle. Yeah.
But like seriously, I do think that there is a little bit of like
no, for sure. There's a cultural difference still. Yeah, it's not like it's just like all Swedish people are the same, right? It's the same with like they've lived in NA for longer, some shorter, right? I definitely agree. I think they have many moving parts, and some things could fall flat and make them go like 5th. I think that's like the lowest I would be able to put them probably.
You couldn't see them like, well, I mean, you couldn't see them 6th. Like, what happens if Dignitas gets it together? Because I think Dignitas is actually like a pretty strong. Like,
yeah, they have a decent ceiling. I think Dignitas. I could see a world where TL's plan just like fails and Dignitas just smurfs. Definitely. I think 6th is reasonable.
Yeah, let's do 6th. I like that. All right, 100 Thieves. This is going to be the first team that
Ooh.
we don't have as a. Well, actually, I mean, maybe we don't. I don't have them as a number one.
Yeah,
ceiling.
I
They're
don't
the first
either.
team.
I can't see them lifting the spring trophy, honestly.
That's
Summer
crazy.
maybe, but spring I can't see, honestly.
What do you think that ceiling is? For me, they're around 3.
I would say 2 or 3. I think 2 is being a bit too optimistic, honestly. I feel like it's hard for them to beat like FlyQuest or EG, like in any world. I'll probably put 3rd, honestly, ceiling.
Okay, and the floor for 100 Thieves?
Probably like 6th or 7th, I would say.
I had 6th. Let's go there. I think that the team can't be that bad. You know, like they have
their base
too many
level is
veterans.
high.
Yeah, their base level is high. Their ceiling is also pretty low, considering like where they are. Just not much difference between their floor and their ceiling here. Okay, next up we have Dig.
Oh yeah, this is the spicy one, I think.
Yeah, this is probably spicy for you. So I think you think their ceiling is actually pretty high.
Yeah, I think it's not bad. I think the only problem I can see is in regular season their carries don't sound that scary. Like Jensen, Spawn, Armut. Like in my head, I'm not like holy fuck, you know. It's not like it's scary compared to like Impact, Vikla, and Prince. Like it's different tiers to me. So I'd say their ceiling might be like 3rd or 4th in my opinion.
Okay.
I would say 3rd, like 3rd is like very optimistic. 4th is more realistic, I would say.
I could compromise to 4th. I think 4th I could see. You know, I mean, in the world where 100 Thieves is just an average team and TL actually shits the bed, I can see them being 4th.
Yeah, exactly. They can climb up.
Now, what's their floor though? Because I think they have a pretty high floor.
I would say their floor is where I put them, right? So probably 6th or 7th.
Yeah, I have them 6 as well. Okay, so our top 6, we're saying that these are going to be the top 6.
Yeah,
teams,
I think that this, like the top 6 in LCS, I think is pretty firm, and then the bottom 4 is kind of interchangeable, a bit like E, I would say.
Yeah. All right, so here we're like I kind of put them in random order. Let's do TSM next. Let's do TSM's floor and ceiling. So you think their floor? I mean, you have them 10th, so that means that their floor is 10th. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
My God, I don't even know if I could argue. Can I see them being the worst team in LCS with Boogie? I mean, maybe. I think Maple could be really bad.
I mean, if I tell you like the players, if you remove Boogie from your mind, right? I'm telling you, a team has Solo, Maple, Neon, Chime. Like, do you not think that's 10th place material? And then there's one guy trying to like 1v9 out of his mind.
I mean, I've seen Neo be on essentially a 10th place team when he was playing. So,
yeah, when he was playing, when you think he was playing fine.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I guess their floor has to be 10th.
Yeah.
it's unfortunate, but their floor has to be 10th. Where do you think the ceiling for this team is? I think it's about like 6th. It's like a low playoff.
Yeah, I would put like 6th or 7th.
Okay.
If things really work out and they actually like manage to play to their strengths. And Solo is in his head thinking that he is being subbed in, you know. Then it's 6th.
You really think about you love the subbing Solo meme. What the fuck?
Well, but it's true, no? Like
I mean, yeah, it's pretty true.
He's a 1v9er when he gets subbed in.
All right, so Golden Guardians, what is their floor? I don't think that their floor is 10th, actually.
No, I don't think so 10th. Either. I would say probably where I put them is their floor, like 8th.
You couldn't see them being 9th?
Oof. I mean,
like
that just means that, I mean, that's true. That just means that TSM just pushes them down, right? So, yeah, that's probably fair then.
Like, to me, like, they could be 9th. Like, they could be a good 9th place team. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you'll
not like 1 or 2 wins, you know, yeah.
Yeah, we saw splits of LEC where like the worst team was Origin and they were like 6 and 12 or something.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I think we got 9th place with 8 wins, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, so sometimes
you're
that happens.
You're a good 9th place player, Treats. Like, I don't care
That's
what all these motherfuckers
honestly.
say. I thought you had
I wear that shit with pride.
One of the best 9th place finishes I've ever seen in my life.
Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go. All right. So 9th floor, what's the ceiling of this team? For me, I think it's like 7. Like, I mean, they have players that maybe the ceiling could be higher, but like
it's still it's just like 6th or 7, right? It's like 6th if 100 Thieves just chokes out of their mind, right? Probably. And 7th in like a normal case where they're not boosted. So I think 7th is more fair.
Yeah. We'll throw 7 here. Okay, CLG. I think their ceiling is 6th.
Yeah,
I think they could be like
they're definitely team. Yeah, I think so too. I wouldn't say 7th. I think 6th is fair.
CLG's floor. I mean, I have them at their floor. What I think their floor would be. I think ninth. I can't see them being the worst team.
Really? I would say 8th probably. I feel like 9th is kind of harsh. Where did they end up last split?
They
like
ended
6th?
up 5th, 6th with
5th?
TSM. But
yeah.
you had TSM going from fucking 5th, 6th
yeah,
to 10th. So.
But I told you my reasonings. Solo is starting. Yeah. It's a big problem for them.
Your reasoning because Reggie, you know, was not the kindest back in those days, according to the allegations that were presented online.
Going to online documents.
The online documents, you know.
Dunzo manifestos.
Yeah, Dunzo manifestos. See, I mean, I can't say that I have their floor as 8th if I put them in 9th, right? Like,
yeah, that's a bit unfair, yeah. No, but 9th is fair because that just means that like IMT or GGS just smurf, right? And
yeah,
I mean, in my head, like one of those teams just play good.
Another strong 9th.
Yeah.
Okay, IMT floor is 10th.
Yeah, definitely 10th.
Floor is 10th, definitely. Ceiling, oof. I've got about 8th. What do you think?
I was thinking 7th. I think that's this is like kind of like a, how do you say it? It's like a don't give a fuck roster where I feel like they all know that they're on a shit team, so they might just play good, if that makes sense. Like I think that their expectations are not high. Their expectations are like to become the best team they can.
Us against the world.
Yeah, exactly. But that can work in LCS, I think.
For sure, that works in every sport. You know, like a team that's considered to be
like
bad.
That's the opposite of TL, right? Where they were like, we have to win everything. We have to go world semis. Like otherwise, we're fucking boosted. And then they just perform shit. I think that this is like the opposite, where they're just like, we're all bad. We're here to do our best.
We're all bad.
Like
Jesus, I don't know if they think that, but like,
I mean maybe they shouldn't think that themselves, but like that's the outlook, I think.
That's so fucked up. Like we're all dog shit, or we wouldn't be on.
No, that's not what I said, by the way. That's not what I said.
Let's just try our fucking best. Like who knows? Enjoy the last couple of years we have in LCS.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, I can't. I don't know if I can see them being in 7th. I'm trying to think about like what a 7th place looks like. That means that they're just better than TSM, Golden Guardians, and CLG.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what that means.
Which I think could happen. Like that could literally be like one more win or loss, Dom. Like it doesn't have to be like groundbreaking, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm just thinking, like I could see it with TSM and Golden Guardians. I don't know if I could see them being ever worse than CLG. That's the one that I'm trying to like. I'm struggling with picturing because I feel like they both have like essentially the same level of team.
They're kind of like the NA budget roster type of thing, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that's where I'm like trying to picture what a CLG 7th place finish, or sorry, IMT 7th place finish looks like.
Yeah. No, I understand what you mean. I think that's a fair argument that it should be hard for them to be the better version of CLG than themselves, yeah.
Yep. All right, where are we going? This is the last one.
I think
8th
so.
or
Yeah.
7th.
Oh yeah, wait, who is left?
That's it.
Oh, easy.
All 10 teams. This is the last one. So where are we deciding for the ceiling? 7th or 8th? I'll give you the final say.
I'll put 7th.
Okay, 7th.
YOLO.
All right, there it is. We did it. That actually is a pretty decent stream. That was like 2 hours.
Yeah, it goes fast when you have a lot to talk about. I feel like, I mean, honestly, I think it's easy to say like, oh, this bit of LCS or LEC will be hype, but I actually do think that there's a lot of potential in this split.
Yep. Yeah, for both. I mean, I'm excited to watch both. It's gonna be nice.
I think it will be fun.
All right. Well, it was a pleasure.
Likewise. It was fun.
Okay. And yeah, I'll see you. We'll do some LEC live views together.
I'm down for that. Yeah, that sounds fun.
All right. Sounds good. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah. Have a good one, Dom.
Peace.
Peace.